Well, what do we got? A baby crying in the background?
Baby crying.
Horses over here, dogs over here, babies over here, and Michael over here. Michael, come on here, Chris. I'm just going to go ahead and give this to you. Happy birthday, Michael. Michael's 20 years old. Is that 30 years old? 30 years. Michael, you made it to your 30th birthday. Michael's one of the big fans of the YouTube. Love you, bro. Take care. Have a happy birthday, my friend. I'm back. I just, we're going to try to get up that Mercola sugar, high fructose corn syrup crap thing out there. These are the things you guys have to be careful about, is misinformation and believing in everything. You know, I'm giving you some foundational work that you can then build on. Like you build a house, your foundation is everything to the rest of the house. So your foundation should always be strong and square and level. And then the carpenters are happy, the cabinet people are happy when they get to their jobs, the drywall people are happy, the roofer, everybody's happy if the foundation is strong, square, and level. So, we got some cases to go over?
Well, a couple of them you need to call.
I need to call them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that after work. I think I have a little time this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yep. You mean you can't take care of that?
This one?
Pretty bad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people get in a bad way when they detox. There's no question about it. Some people are very advanced. Just remember that. And for you guys that are the advanced ones, all I can say is just grab onto all the joy you can. Surround yourself with flowers. Get in the sun. Do everything that feels good to yourself. Relax. And work through it, because I don't know what else is out there that can help you with this. So hang in there. And I know it can deviate your thinking in all kinds of ways, you know. And, you know, just you do your very best. But I think it's important that the spiritual element come in here always. The spiritual element simply means that you're awakening from thought. And that by awakening from thought, you begin to understand more of who you really are. It's just that simple. Thought is just a mechanical process, but it's one we're trained to constantly do. So we're always thinking, we're always planning, we're always desiring, we always want something, we always want to go somewhere, we want to do something, but that keeps creation alive in your world. How can you find God or find out who you are if you're constantly involved in your thinking processes? That's not you, that's your thinking processes. So the mind, and then they praise academics, that if you don't have academics, you're stupid. You're one of the lowlifes. And you just saw someone that's academically inclined that making stupid statements. So I think you'll find that the more academically inclined you are, the stupider you can be, because you lose that spirituality of having some semblance of awareness up and beyond thought processes. And thought processes are conditioned thinking. Your thought processes are conditioned by professors who their thought processes were conditioned, whose professors before them were conditioned. Conditioned by scientists who are just people that went to school from conditioned professors. And then most of the observed sciences are not true observation anymore. So this is why we have a medical world highly academically inclined, just unaware of the simple facts of truth. And it's not their fault. This is the society we're at. And we just have to stop that, because as you see, the medical mafia is a major part of the decline of the financial and economic picture of the world. And wait till Obamacare in this country hits you guys. Wake up, and now those people getting their paychecks are getting woke up. Not this year. No, you just had a little payroll tax coming out. It's next year and then the year after, until you pay $2,000 a year. So it's just that healthcare system isn't just about the money, it's the killing machine it has become. And there's no walking lightly on this truth. We can't walk lightly anymore. Take a look at your children. Can't walk lightly anymore on this planet. Truth needs to be opened up and the sun shine bright in facts, in happiness, in joys, and in simplicity. So you just have to allow that to happen to yourself. And you work through these things as much as possible. This is why you see the power of the now, and you're seeing more of the Timothy Leary type of days, where you had Albert became Ram Dass. Remember, and Ram Dass wrote a book called Be Here Now. Wrote that years ago. And I used to walk around, be here now, be here now, be here now. I'd always repeat that to myself to get my mind to stop chattering. Shut up! I was just trained to think all the time. So our educational system needs to realize there's times to think and there's times not to think, and to be awake and aware and watchful so you can see and understand. Mind can't understand truth. You can. So just remember that. This is Hello Herb Doctor. While taking multiple glandulars simultaneously, adrenals and parathyroid confuse body and lessen the ability to utilize. Nope, I don't think so. I don't think so. We've not seen that, have we?
No.
No. Matter of fact, it seems like everybody knows where to go. It just seems that way. And I like them together in the sense that the more buddies you have working with you, the easier everything is. And that's what we found with herbal formulas and glandulars.
I come around and
No.
I wouldn't mind saying something on that subject.
Come on around. Bring your chair around. This is Marcy. Remember, our new counselor here.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually at this moment taking a pituitary, a pancreas, and a thyroid, and the adrenal. So I'm taking 4 of them. And I have not been, for a month now, I have not been freezing cold with my hands. I have not seen any undigested food in my stools. Let me see, what else can I say about that? The pressure that I've been feeling and the dizziness that I've been feeling up in my head is getting less. It's still there, but it's getting less.
Good.
So, I mean, I'm on 4 of them. So.
Now, does that make you wonder about the parasympathetic related to the pancreas and your type 1? Huh? Interesting, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, there's just so much we don't know.
Right.
So you just go in and you make everything healthy. Who cares? You just make everything healthy if you understand what makes it unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so multiple glandulars have been common. Chiropractors generally give multiple glandulars. So I don't see that as an issue whatsoever.
The only time I am cautious on that is if someone is very, very weak, very, very sensitive. You may approach it with 1 at a time and build things up that way.
Very good point. Very good point. And true right on. I always start on the low side. Sometimes I leave them on, like the adrenals, 1-3 times a day. And they say, I just have no energy. I say, well, go up to 2 or 3. And then they say, oh, yeah, just like the one you were telling me about. So I tend to be the guilty party sometimes because I like to go slower and then faster. But that's because I don't want to have any problems with that.
Right.
Get used to it and then go a little more. The beauty of these people is that they're getting educated on the YouTube. They're taking it. They're learning. And these guys, when I have YouTubers in the office here, I can't believe how smart they are.
Right.
I just love that. It is a thrill to talk to those that are studying the YouTube classes, that are on the Facebooks. You guys are getting it, and it's just great. And just remember that the older people's job is to pass their knowledge and their wisdom on to the younger people, so they can take it and learn more. I have to say, in my world, I'm more involved in telling you what not to do because what I did. I try to tell you, don't do this because I did it. That's the problem with some of the healers. We go like everybody else. We go up and down. Nobody's perfect here. And I think that you get these young people out there, some of these people that ride with some kind of perfectionist attitude, and yet they don't even know. Look at the raw boys. Now they don't want to even do fruits and vegetables because of Mercola and bullcrap people like that. I mean, this is the problem. And then these boys are going to get themselves in trouble with high proteins, and this one guy drinking a half a gallon of milk a day. When he wakes up to this, oh my God, he's going to holy wish he'd never even thought of that or heard of that. I mean, it's just a nightmare. I can guarantee you, nobody deals with milk products like that. So it's just people come out with this crap. I don't know where these people come from that somehow somebody thinks a half a gallon of milk somehow is going to be good for you. Pasteurized milk.
You start getting yourself cleaned out. The minute I put a piece of dairy in my mouth, my sinuses start draining. It's absolutely hilarious.
Well, you know what?
Well, it's not, but...
Yeah, but it's true. We've got samples of the new glycerins in.
Yes.
And Jennifer's already getting pulled mucus out of her. Now, she is an avid alcohol herbal consumer, our regular formulas. And now she's seeing that these infused glycerins might be strong, too. So we'll see.
Very exciting.
So we'll see. It is very exciting. Also, if an hour before a blood pressure test, I took a raw New Zealand glandular and then walked 30 minutes fast to the doctor's office, and then blood pressure was 100/60. Yuck. Well, it shows you how low this poor soul's got. Should I have taken another? Probably. I mean, after this person, this is Matthew, even ran to the doctor's office, he's still only 100/60. And that's my point, is that we're in trouble when it comes to the adrenals. You're seeing that just constantly here yourself. So thank you so much, my friend Matthew. Yeah, I would have taken 2. Probably want to do 2-3 times a day. Yeah, you want to try to get your blood pressure up to something close to 120. But remember, why the adrenals? We have genetic memories and we have congestion or lymph stagnation. It's very easy to get lymph stagnation in the adrenals when the kidneys go down. I mean, they're one of the first ones to go down with it. Sits right on top. So they're one of the ones that get beat up pretty bad too. So, it's just working back out of these, cleaning all these acids out, getting the inflammation out, rebuilding the cells. The glandulars are just good at turning on the cells here.
And detoxification's really gotten a bad rap. You hear all these stories about how this went wrong and that went wrong. There's a correct way and there's an incorrect way to detox. And I never approach detoxification without supporting that kidney. Because if you start detoxing and pulling that lymph and your kidneys aren't prepared for it, you're going to have issues. It's going to come out your skin. You're going to hurt somewhere because it's not allowed to drain properly the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Rena. I have been taking your herbs, adrenal tincture, kidney caps, kidney 2 liquid, and lymph 1 caps. I have been having major problems with acne. After taking your herbs for a few months, I didn't notice any change. I do have faith that they will work, but maybe I am doing it wrong. I have been doing fruit all day, salads at night for the last almost 2 years. After seeing a naturopath, I was told I was hypothyroid, so I have been taking the thyroid glandular. Okay. Check your basal temperatures under your arm and see where you're at with that. I went through more than 1 bottle and noticed no difference in my skin at times. It gets worse. I then tried pituitary, still no change. I have no idea what to do anymore. It's been so hard to solve my skin issues for the past 2 years, and it's really taken a toll on my personal life. I tried colonics, herbs, glandulars, fruit fast. What should I do? Well, it's a good question. And this is the thing. Rena, if you're having this much trouble after all this work, you have a chronic stage right here. So I would definitely get on the bowel capsules, clean up the bowel, get the GI broom, clean up my gut real good, continue to pound on those kidneys, because what this shows is you're not filtering. You're not looking like this yet. And that's really important. Use the skin formula as well. Get into some saunas. Open up your skin to breathe. Do 2 lymphatics, 2 kidneys. And then if you have to, go up into fasting. Go up into a 40-day grape fast, at least. Or go up into a lemon fast for 10 days. And then do another one. And then do another one. I mean, you're going to have to dig in, sweetheart. Because it says that at this level, you still need to go deeper. Well, that's when you introduce the fasting, or you go up into water fasting. I'm telling you, you have to get deeper and deeper and deeper. It's the only way to get remedy. There's no other way to get remedy with the skin, because you don't want to put anything on it. That even adds to the subcutaneous levels of toxicity. That also means their lymph nodes are swollen and everything else in their body. So you really don't give up. Don't give up. Keep hitting it. Get better. Go deeper. Fast. Now, like I say, give me a 40-day grape fast, okay, honey? I can't, for the life of me, this is the dog's nose.
Yeah.
I see. And that's a tumor on the dog's nose. This is Patricia. Hard to read. My 11-year-old male dog, Harvey. Harvey has what was diagnosed to be an anal nut. That's not the nose.
Sorry.
Sorry. Man, it kind of looked like it.
A little bit.
Oh, wrong end. The hole is draining pus, and see that pus. You remember that we talked about most canines have kidney problems anyway. This is just notoriously known that all canines have different degrees of kidney issues. So you see a lot of these lymphatic problems with the dogs and stuff. So all I can say is you could use a little Canex on that. which is a form of, it's not a really black salve, it's a marketable, the FDA knows it, I guess, but Canals, you can get it here and take that off of there. But I would work on the internal side of him with the lymphatic one, kidney one, endocrine gland, maybe parasite M, and go after that on this dog. Go up by weight just like a human and internally start cleaning that lymph. Same thing as you do as the human, and you could put a little Canals, which is a form of black salve, maybe on that to draw that out. They've got a homeopathic suggested a drawing salve. Well, he was right, absolutely. That's why I like natural people like homeopaths and stuff like that. A drawing salve would work quite well on that. But I know you have mentioned different types of salves as well. Yeah, that's called Canals. That's available on the market. It's not a real aggressive black salve, which you wouldn't want to use on this dog anyway. The pus and all that's all sewage. That's all lymph.
Would you put a couple of drops of Heal-All tea on that, possibly?
You could. You could even put a Heal-All. I don't know if you can do a poultice. It's hard for me to see right where that is.
Right.
That picture is like, I'm not sure. But a little Canals like that would do it. But internally, you want to deal with the cause of the problem.
Yes.
And the cause of the problem is lymphatics. Obviously, see the pus. It's not oozing blood, although it can, because interstitial is a little bit of blood, so it can ooze a little blood. We do nothing but help to heal it up. Hey, Scott, Bo. Hey, man. Where do you begin with someone that just started dialysis? Now, this is a very important question here, and this is another reason I wanted to get this one done here. This is from Scott, and this guy brings up a good question. He's probably got a friend or something. Why do you begin with someone that just started dialysis 3 months ago and on chemo for lupus? First of all, I would recommend the State Attorney General to send that medical doctor to a little bit of jail time for using chemo for lupus. Lupus is a high acidosis in the body. Lupus, Lyme's, arthritis, RA, all can lump them in the same guys. This is high acidosis. Take a chemo for it. You know, these guys just don't stop. And somebody's got to stop them. I mean, it's just crazy. So this kid's going to lose his kidneys from chemo.
You're throwing gasoline on a fire to try and put it out.
Absolutely. It would be easier to get my friend better if he wasn't on dialysis. Absolutely. I'll say this, and I've said this before. If your friend is still peeing on his own, then the idea of going dialysis is questionable for me, because dialysis is so toxic of a procedure that a lot of people, as soon as they go in dialysis, a month or two down the road, they quit peeing when they were peeing previously. If you're peeing, I would say grab our healing modality here. Grab it with full hands and wrestle that and get your kidneys back and not go to dialysis. If you're getting toxemia in the blood from it, you've got to go to dialysis, because it'll kill you if you don't. It's that bad. But if it's just creatinine levels are high, he's still self-urinating, and I would question going dialysis. Then you have a good chance. The problem with dialysis is that when it stops you from urinating, or you wait too long and you've got so swollen down here you can't pee no more, then you've got to go to dialysis, because then it backs up into the blood, and then you have blood toxemia and systemic toxemia, and death is not too far away. You can't acidify the blood, remember? So this is a real serious problem here. This young man or woman, if they're peeing, if it was me, I would come off of that. If it was me, and I wasn't feeling any, I'm asymptomatic, I wasn't getting toxemia or septicemia, I would definitely come off of that, and I'd really go down and start working on this and get my kidneys filtering. The chemo, man, this person's just killing themselves. You don't do chemo. You don't chemo for no reason, let alone lupus. This is how out of control that the allopathic people are in. So this is what I'm saying about legal things. I like to see some good attorneys start going, because right now the two studies are out, and you didn't even need a study to know that. But the studies are out, and if you put together the facts of how many people survive chemo and that don't, and the studies that show that chemo damages every cell in the body, or billions of them, and then someone gives you that, that's manslaughter or attempted manslaughter. I don't care if you have an MD or ND on your name. Doesn't matter what you have on your name. You don't give someone high acids like that. That's just where the problem is in our world. And this is a killing machine like crazy. You medical doctors that tune into this, get away from this. Protect yourself, because the world is coming after these guys. I'm telling you, this is karma. And you can't keep getting away with giving chemo. These guys are going to be in trouble in the future. It's going, when our law wakes up, when our judicial systems around the world wake up to the reality of this, these guys are in trouble. So if I was a medical doctor right now, I would run away from chemo, not walk, run away. Because you can't keep killing people and them not come back and get you. That's just going to happen. Get into this field, you don't have to carry all this insurance. Valerie, got a heck of a name there, doesn't she? Isn't that a beautiful picture there? Reminds me of the 60s. This great, oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Amsterdam, Holland. Woo, woo. Thank you, dear. Thanks for that. That's a real sweet thing. I appreciate that. You know, we try to get godly. Some things kind of pulls us away from that a little bit, especially when I see you guys getting hurt with chemo and other doctors making stupid statements like high fructose corn syrup is the same thing as fruit sugar. That stuff is just unbalancing sometimes because it's been over and over. We're beating a dead horse, and the trouble is some people buy into it. That's just insanity. It sends me out to lunch. And these people are going to have to take responsibility some days. Oh, this is monkey buttification. I want to say beautification, but that's butt. Since eating raw, I always encounter people who turn their nose up at me. The general thought, yeah, I remember I told you I lost all my friends back in the late 60s. The general thought by people is proteins are important. Yeah, the general thought, and it's the general misinformation. Have met several people consuming whey protein, hottest thing on the market now, dairy protein. Oh, one of the worst you can do. Oh. I had a medical doctor friend that he knew I didn't like protein. Of course, I already showed him what it did because he had major kidney problems. Came to our class, major kidney pain. I put him on all the fruit and just herbs. And this is a great medical doctor. Ran a hospital in San Diego. And so he came to class, and on second day, third day, totally out of pain, been having a lot of pain. Camera showed degeneration of the kidney, big genetic weakness, and he walked in the class kind of like this, you know. Third day, all gone. Fourth day, all gone. Now, it wasn't regenerated yet, but the pain and all was all gone. So the fifth day, the girls were doing a raw food kitchen. And what your kitchen would look like as a raw foodist. And the things you would want to have in a kitchen, from a juicer, you know, to your little zucchini grinder and all that. So they fixed some Giuliano dehydrated dishes. One was meatloaf, which has a lot of vegetables, of course, and nuts, you know. And so I asked him, I said, listen, Doc, you feeling really good. I want you to just try this, a vegetable dish. I didn't want to tell him protein. I said, this is a vegetable dish. I want you to try this. Second bite. Oh, what was that? I said, that's protein. Now you'll never forget it, will you? Well, you don't give protein to people in pain particularly. So this is the big thing. You got to understand this about proteins. And then he went on to making health bars for health food stores, but he used whey protein. My wife has epilepsy and eliminating proteins. Now listen to this one, and this really shows you how this guy really brings this out. And I look at the sun and the beautiful thing of this. This guy is really cool. So his wife has epilepsy, and eliminating proteins has reduced and almost eliminated her seizures. Hello, you did the right thing, my friend. That's what you do. You get away from what they're preaching. You get away from the proteins, because if you're having seizures or grand mal or whatever, and you're on protein, you're going to keep having them because you're constantly acidifying the body. Notice with seizures that anything alkaline tends to be antispasmodic. That's why we use our antispasmodic for your wife to help control the seizures. At the same time, we're going after the adrenals to pump up more neurotransmitters. We're going after the myelin sheaths. We're getting up in the head. We're moving more oxygen into the brain cells. We're regenerating brain tissue. We're cleaning up the cerebellum, cleaning up the GI tract, the connection. So we're doing all these things to pull you out of seizures, and it works every single time. Absolutely. But he's just seeing right here, and a good statement it was, my friend. People have to understand this. You don't do proteins, especially if you're seizing and you have epilepsy. Her doctor agrees that proteins cause the liver to not function and get her medicines to her brain. He said she has to have good, clean albumin. I assume that is lymph fluid. No, it's a form of protein in the blood that's essential.
Can you address, this is one for you to address. He's, ever since he was first born, a couple weeks, he's now, I think, 3 or 4, having seizures multiple times a week, and they've got him on a very high fat. I mean, if he eats a piece of fruit, they have him eat fat. If he eats a protein, eat fat.
Oh, I tell you, it's all that's insanity, you know. When you're having neurological problems, there's only one food group that can help you, and that's the fruits and the berries and the melons. You see that with the lady with MS on the YouTube, but this is universal. We see this throughout the thing, is that when you're in seizures, you want to build the nervous system up. You want to also check your calcium channel. You want to check your parathyroid gland, because you can have low calcium utilization and seize from that. Adrenals have to be up, so magnesium and manganese and all these other minerals that are involved in seizures are also being utilized properly. Myelin sheath weakness, you want to strengthen that. That means more neurotransmitters out of the adrenals and out of the brain. So you work with the upper circuit and the brain and nerve. You use the antispasmodic to control seizures and spasms and things. And then you go after just what you guys know. You go after the health of cells. And after a while, you pull them out. You got to detox. A lot of these children are vaccinated in the hospital now. And then you have the thimerosols. You have all the mercury neurotoxicities and things like that. And I don't know whether they just don't get it. They're constipated. I don't know what's up anymore. You know, it's well established that, and even in hospitals, remember, have to quarantine when you have a mercury spill. Yet there's dentists out there saying no problem with it. What? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is just a planet for ignorance, and all the souls come in here that kind of seem to think.
And if you're a parent that is not vaccinating your kids and you're feeling pressure from the school, and there's been several medical staff that have been fired because they refused.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stay strong on that. Stay strong.
Just stay strong. Like nurses, you're forcing a nurse to take a cold and flu vaccine. I mean, just that alone, it's just a moneymaker. And anytime you suppress your lymph system, that's your cancer tomorrow. That's your nightmare from hell tomorrow, guys. You never suppress the body's function. You enhance the body's function. I don't know. It's just become interesting on this rock. This is from Pottery Lady. Pottery, poetry. I have heard that turmeric is good for pain. Absolutely. Good liver. Absolutely. I tried it mixed with a little water, ginger, interesting, root powder, and black pepper. Black pepper, not good for pain. Black pepper will cause you more pain. Not good for pain, black pepper. Cayenne pepper, perhaps a little better, yes. All nutrient rich, but black pepper is an irritant. No. But I could not stand the taste, so I stopped drinking it. Well, I wouldn't rely on turmeric just as an anti-inflammatory for pain. I would definitely get into the whole process of raw foods and that sort of thing. We've got some pain for use an antispasmodic even for pain. That'll be helpful to you.
Remember, pain is acid, and that's your body just letting you know that you're over acidic, and you've got to get that cleaned out. That's simple.
It's that simple. That simple, guys. What time do I have my client? Is it 3:30?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm going to have to go. Holy crap. Dr. Morse, how do I become an ND like you? What schools would I have to attend? That's a good question, you know. I just don't know the naturopathic schools now. Most of them now are owned by medical doctors, all the ones that kind of faded away, you know. In this country, medical doctors try to overpower everybody, including naturopaths, after they call them all kinds of names, and then they open up schools and teach them wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's just another look at this sort of thing. But I say, sweetheart, or whoever asked me that question, get in your herbs. Yeah. Learn to become an herbalist, become a detoxifying specialist, and you'll go miles further than when you become an ND. So.
And if you are set on becoming an ND, the first step would be finding out who your state even approves. Because if you want a license to do it. Why waste that many years and then find out that you're not able to practice in that state?
Well, the point is that this whole licensure thing, if you're, of course, we're talking to the world.
Yeah.
But in this country, when you have somebody require a license of you, then you know immediately they don't understand the law and the Constitution, because you are granted, being born in this country, you are in one of the 50 states, not in the District of Columbia, that's federal territory. But if you're born in one of the 50 states, you have rights, not privileges. A license is a privilege. even a driver's license. And we can go into some extensive study on the UCC and all that and what they've been doing to us with that side of the law, or codes, not law, color of law, if anything. This is a lady with a rash all over her. I think she's a YouTuber. See all that rash on her body here? You generally see these rashes, one, when they're full of sulfur, or they've used antibiotics or steroids in particular to suppress inflammation or acidosis, and then they start detoxing. Kaboom! And particularly when you see the kidneys and adrenals not filtering, this is what you're going to see, the skin take up on that. So you can back up and go slower, but this sort of stuff itches like crazy and you want to rip your skin off stuff. So we've had it. We don't have it a lot, but we do have it once in a while. Some poor farmer, and she was a female, she broke out so bad she almost itched her skin off. So we do see this. Part of detoxification, you can slow up and go a lot slower, but I suggest that you get into the kidneys, you get into the lymph and pull all this out of you, and then you'll be in good shape. It's just one of the processes you can go through. And if your lymph is too backed up, go slower.
Yeah.
Go slower.
And real quick, just circling back to the getting your license for ND, don't be too quick to do that, because the minute you get a license, you're limited in what you can say, what you can do.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before. Get out of this concept of diseases. Get out of the concept of the medical world, because you don't want a world that's crashing. And let me tell you, karma is like the dragon's tail. It whips around and kicks you. And none of us are above it. So I'm going to say that if you're a medical doctor giving chemo, I suggest you change your mind. And if you're a medical doctor even thinking of it, run from that, because it's going to come after them. These people are not going to keep taking this. You can't keep killing people and giving chemo for lupus. Some lady with some young girl on chemo for psoriasis.
Oh.
Man, all I got to tell you guys is that wake up. All you young people, you're the smart ones out there. Do not let these insane people hurt you like this, because coming back out of big acid burns like this, especially with genetics like they are, very difficult and will kill a lot of you. So you just be real careful there.
Yeah.
Because we love you. That's why. And we are one. We are a one in this world. We are all come from the one source. And those people that have come together under this website and under the Facebooks and working as one, as healers at this level, I applaud you. Thank you so much. Don't let anything shake you off of that either. This crap like high fructose corn syrup, even comparing it to fruit is an insult, and yet you have people do that. It just shows you where the awareness are. You guys have much greater awareness than that. Don't fall into these traps. We love you. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Namaste. Baraka Bashad. And you have fun tonight, each and every one of you. Oh, everyone. How are you today? Oh, yeah, you got to be careful working around here. I hope it finds you well today, every one of you. We got rain and clouds, and we need the rain bad here. But, boy, I tell you, we had a guy pull up with a big truck of strawberries and fruits, so they look pretty good. We'll see. People just don't grab the organics. Oh, well. Yeah. Hope you had a chance to review the latest videos. Sorry about the, the high fructose corn syrup and other fruit. I mean, you have to stop and realize how ridiculous these sort of things are going on. And when science comes up with stuff like that, you have to understand that sometimes science doesn't have any of the answers. Matter of fact, if we probably really knew the whole truth, how God does all this and what's really happening in chemistry and physics, we probably would be shocked, because there's so much going on at nano levels and other levels. I mean, you know, it's once said, take the head of a pin and cut it in half. And then take that half and cut that half in half. And then take that half and cut that half, and keep doing that, that you'll never find the smallest part of God. I mean, you can't even conceive something like that. And then the opposite, of course, is true. So I hope you are pulling out your godly selves today and giving that to others. Because I'll tell you, if you give God, you get God. It's that simple. If you give love, you get love. And that's just the way it is. And you know, I'm guilty of the other, too. But I really need to catch up here with some of these questions of yours. You have so many great questions. You keep me hopping. And I'm already hopping. So this is a Patricia. Patricia, my iron levels were low and my holistic MD told me to increase my greens. Are there any fruits high in iron? You know, seriously, I think that when we think about the way we perceive things naturopathically and the way some medical doctors are perceiving things which are similar, that we kind of pull into we're low, we need to take more. And I think that one has to examine more the metabolism and the utilization factors of iron. And it'll take you back to the adrenal steroids again. So when you're having iron problems, I think the important thing is clean your liver out, of course. Clean the spleen, don't forget that. Refurbishes red blood cells. At the same time, get those adrenals back online and working. And then as all this process, as you balance out that delicate pH of the blood, as you move all these proteins out of the blood, all these little creatures that are there because of the proteins in the blood, but also from just a toxic body, then everything starts carrying better, holding better, hemoglobin hematocrit comes up, red blood cells come up. Now if you're running low white blood cells, no, no, no. You must work on your bone marrow and your spleen. You do not want low white blood cells. If you see that tendency happening, dig deep in the lymph and go after the bone marrow. We got a new bone marrow formula coming. Man, those glycerin formulas are so good. Oh my God. They are so good. And those of you that have blood sugar issues, you're going to want the healthy glucose because Marcy, you know, is a type 1. She took a dropper full and her blood sugar hit 50. So it's a great formula. So you have to be careful with it, but it's a good formula. It's in glycerin. I'll have it in capsules as well. But the new glycerin formulas are so good tasting, and they're strong as heck. So that's what I would do, Patricia. If you want to do up in your greens, do your beet bulbs. You're going to need to clean the liver and the kidneys anyway, interestingly enough. And the greens on top of the beets, of course. And then your parsleys and all that. Kelp is a good add, and alfalfa is a good add. And again, if you're in the building stages or in your detoxification where you can spend some time with some greens, do it. Yeah, definitely. And this is Flying with Horses. Man, what a unicorn. Beautiful. You know, I read a book once about unicorns and what their job is, why they were here at one point, that sort of thing. You know, it's said at one time you can't imagine anything that doesn't exist somewhere, because that means you would be able to imagine outside of the imagination of God. And that's impossible. Flying with Horses. What a beautiful friggin' horse. Oh my God. I raised horses this too, and this one is just gorgeous. My God. Whew, hardly looks real. I had there was a great artist in Eckankar once. She made some beautiful etheric paintings, and she drew one of Pegasus. And I had that for years, and then there was a young child one time, and I knew his dad well, and his child said, "Daddy, Daddy, last night I rode Pegasus and went flying through the heavens." So I gave him my Pegasus painting. Okay. I heard that you recommend spring water and just wanted to share what I read in the works of the famous Victor, a nature-loving man who understood water as well as Camp understood cells and their terrain. He wrote that the ideal water for us to drink is mineral water, as this is mature water, which has gone through all of its stages of development and mineralization. He calls spring water immature water, as it was still magnetically needing to attract minerals to itself. I don't know if I agree with that one. You know, when you're getting spring water, you're getting highly mineralized water from the ground. and all of its purification processes to it. I think mineral water and spring water are pretty much the same thing. You don't want to add minerals to water and get a mineral water like that. Spring water is going to be mineralized water. There's not any difference really. If you're collecting rainwater, then you're getting more distilled with a lot of acids and a lot of pollution. That's the problem with rainwater. Distilled water is acidic, of course, and then depends what your distiller is made with to what that is. And then, of course, RO water, which is what I have. I have a whole house RO system. It's still devoid of everything. So drinking-wise, I'm really for and mineralized, just what you're saying here, an energized, mineralized water, absolutely. No matter what you call it. And I like a pH no more than, say, 8 to 8.5. Keep in mind your blood pH is 7.4, and you don't really want to create alkalosis. So you really want just a good mineralized spring water or mineralized water, whichever you wish to call it. It should be around 7.5, somewhere in that way. I think Avignon, which is up in the French Alps, is somewhere around 8. Okay, deficiencies in our body. No, this is... it couldn't lead to any deficiencies in the body by drinking mineralized water or spring water at all. Some people have thought that with distilled water, but there's never been any evidence or proof of that whatsoever, and I've never seen that either, even though you know that water is devoid of minerals, distilled water, and that anything that's empty pulls in osmosis, pulls into itself, obviously, until it's full. Just the way nature and the way cells absorb some nutrients and things, definitely. And it's important to understand some of those things. But at the same time, I observed a lot of the animals in nature, and you don't really have a lot of water consumption when you're a food eater that has a lot of water in it. Do see it though, no question, and I always see mineralized water or spring water or lake water, whatever. But those are the animal kingdom, and I think that we know too how we can get good water. We have Warm Mineral Springs up here, which is famous for its health benefits, of course. You definitely smell the sulfur and stuff, unfortunately, but extremely mineralized water. People come from all over the world to bathe in it, as it is in Czech and Austria and a lot of other places have all these mineral springs. It's so cool. You know, I'd love to see this country catch on things like that instead of wasting our time with ridiculous things. I've done quite a bit of research into water filters. I can highly recommend the Energizing Filtration System by Nikken. Yeah, I'm familiar with those guys. Magnetic guys, which was founded on a Japanese river whose inhabitants enjoyed longevity. Yeah, I can say that sounds real good too. You know, anything like that I think is really good. For those wishing to read the works of Victor, there are 2 books published in the writings called Living Water and Living Energies. Big hugs to you too there, sweetheart, and boy, do I love your horse. That's something else. Beautiful, beautiful there, dear. Yeah, I think if you use your common sense, you'll see that you'll see the proper way to eat and the proper ways to do things. And if we can dispel the illusion and the myths and the propaganda, particularly like the high fructose corn syrup, propaganda. This is just, and it's just never going. So you can see why the average person is very confused out there. And I just say that it shows no purpose but this is, again, unconsciousness. So you could say this is the marketplace, as Jesus said, this is the marketplace on every level. So I hope that we can always, this site can always stand for truth. And people like the flying with horses, bring out these good things like this, guys. I love stuff like that. Working together is pretty much fun there. This is a lady that is 36. Flying with horses is a lady 36 years young. I like how she thinks already. Have a horse like that, she's already thinking good. Wearing the robe. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, sweetheart. Good job. Thanks for the info on the water, too. Hi, Robert. Hey. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. She's from the UK, by the way. Thanks so much for that. And she's doing 80% raw foods, very spiritual woman. of course. My question is about eyes. Can congested lymph in the head cause near farsighted? Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All the eye problems, even mine. Mine clears and goes and clears and goes. I did get some radiation, too much there, and nuclear medicine. That's when I noticed my problem. And I can read these, but I get to depending on these, and then, I don't know. But absolutely, absolutely. I need to dig in myself, and get this out of me and get that cleaned up. And do you have experience in these conditions being healed through detoxification and rebuilding? I've had everything from MACD to plenty of glaucomas. I've never seen anybody talk to me about nearsightedness and going after that issue or comments in that way, no. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see someone take it on and clean all that up, because you're going to rebuild nervous systems, including optic nerves. You're going to rebuild all the eye tissues and all of this, absolutely. So I've seen people that have had these problems, not knowing, but I've heard the comments on, stigmatism and all this gone. So I've heard a lot of those comments, We've never made a list of those people. But and this is the other thing, is we don't make lists like that where someone comes in. We've never been ego-driven. And that includes our work here with some of these. We're throwing some of these cases up there to show you the power of what it can do, but it's not an ego-driven thing, because I could care less. But I just want you to see the power that the body and nature has to rebuild your body. Yeah, I mean, you get up there and it's a lot of work, no question, but boy, I tell you, it's just phenomenal. And so I would. You're already a very spiritual woman, and I'm raw, and I just keep going with that. Use the eye wash topically and internally, helpful. You could use an eye glandular. At the same time, you want to drain those sinuses, get with upper circulation and brain and nerve. Those would be two things you always, whenever you want to work on something up here, always use upper circulation or brain and nerve, or some herbs that are relatively the same. That way it'll get up here and start moving blood more aggressively, but remember, you always want to remove causative factors, which is going to be the lymph system, which is going to be acidosis, before you start breaking down eye tissue. And absolutely, always remember that all symptoms, or 99% of most symptoms, don't fall under alkalosis, they fall under acidosis. There's definitely alkalosis. But I think the medical doctors and biochemistry, if they reversed their thinking, they would have it right, and it would fit in just what you see in clinical work. Science can say one thing, but if your clinical work shows something else, I have to tell you, what happens in real time, what you see in clinical work, or what you see on your clients, that's real. Theories are out there, ideas are out there, they haven't landed anywhere yet. They're still in the mental worlds, they're still flowing around, and they're subject to change depending upon the level of awareness. Real time and actual work on your clients is real. That's reality. You can see it. You can see the improvements. You can see the regeneration. If science can't explain that, then science needs to change. Not our work. Science needs to change. And that's what's important to understand, is what works. I mean, everybody talks about proteins and talks about these things, but those don't work. The poor Bro brothers, they're going back to a standard diet like everybody is, and that's how they get sick in the first time. Eliminating some chemicals, eliminating cokes and stuff like that, that's an obvious given. You have to go much deeper than that if you want wellness. And I'll safely say, get rid of the dead tissue and the dead milks from these animals. As a young child, this is interesting here, flying Liana, as a young child, fed on dairy, meat, and starch. Me too. Did you hear? I don't even want to close your horse's ears right now. Did you hear that on the news about horse meat in Europe, and how it's a thing, and then this country is thinking about horse meat, and it's like, oh my God. Anyway, man just has to eat everything that's meat. I don't know what it is. They showed that in primates, that if you introduce meat into a primate family, that not only makes them aggressive, which is, you see that in man everywhere, but they can get extremely aggressive. And that's what you see with that primate family, where they had that island they had that hurricane on, and they got out of this research center. Well, they'd been fed meat and everything else, and now they're cannibals. They're killing other monkeys, ripping them and eating them. And a camera was showing a chimpanzee eating another monkey. That's how aberrated, that's how unbalanced our science mind, that's how unbalanced our mind is. And if we don't pull that mind in, it'll choke off this level right here and this planet. And we just have to get outside of the mind for a while and bring in spirituality, bring in love, bring in a oneness. Then we can play a little bit. But nature offers all the answers, as you see, in a very harmonious, a very loving, and a very healthy way. And there's not anything you can't find in nature. And even the chemistry that makes pharmaceuticals are found in where? Nature. But we always have to mess with nature, you know. This lady had from that allergies, bronchitis, asthma, sinus congestion, ear infections. She had years of antibiotics and inhalers. At age 5, I developed an inner shunt in my right eye and started reading and drawing upside down. They printed this real small, so forgive me that. Wow, she's seen all kinds of things. Seeing as my lymph is backed up all the way to my head. Yeah, mine too. That's why I fight with my teeth and everything else, and it's a trip to clean your head out. I wonder how much of a role this congestion played in the creating of my early eye problems. Oh, absolutely, honey, absolutely. No question whatsoever. And you'll see when you detox, you can get mucus floaters all over. Your vision can get a little cloudy, then clear up, a little cloudy, and clear up. That's lymph. That's the waxing and waning of the lymph system. It can even break down the sclera. A lot of people get the little fatty tumors growing on the eye. No different than what's going on inside of you. Absolutely. Let's see. Now, thanks to your videos, I have been building up to more raw. Oh, good. And doing the herbs. That's fantastic. Also ordered parasite lymph. Oh, fantastic. Now, thanks to your videos, I can incorporate a more holistic. Oh, good. Good. Oh, man. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for all your thought, and appreciate that. Allopathy community love to do. You're a good Greek word for knowledge. Just a nice email here. So thank you so much, sweetheart. That's appreciative. KRYSTA. I am a 20-year-old female from Massachusetts. I've been taking God's herbs since late July 2012. Wow, that's all going around 9 months, 8 months. But I have a very hard time sticking to the all-fruit diet. Yeah, and you know what? It's okay. You know, that's what I'm saying is that these are the ultimates in the future for man. And I think it's going to take a lot of generations for man to understand and adapt his body to this higher level of consumption. There are some that can do it quicker than others. The islanders will have no problems. But I think when you look at the future on the planet, I think greenhouses are obvious. Hopefully the pyramid types. You're going to have fruit trees growing in these greenhouses as you are your vegetables. When you look at the most economical and the best way and the best yield to feed the most people, you're always going to have fruits, berries, and melons. But I have a very hard time. Okay, I've just recently started doing your protocol that you wrote for me in mid-January. My main health concern is vitiligo. Well, you know, immediately that's the pigmentation in the skin changing. And so, you know, immediately that's a pituitary. And of course, if the pituitary is involved, it can be genetically weakened in a genetic past, no question. But on the other hand, you have to assume lymphatic. And remember, we talked a lot about, we tried to show you on those eyes there, that when you talk about pituitary, you must always look at the transverse colon. Because if you're going to fix the head area, and it's like this flying with horses lady, you've got to clean up the bowels to effectively drain the head. It's just this head just sits right down on top of your intestines, basically. So you really need to clean this whole area. And again, getting the kidneys going. And you'd want that, though. And thinking about this and going after health issues, you would want to do like anything else, spring clean. If you vacuum your car out, you just don't vacuum the front passenger side. you vacuum the whole thing. And that's the thing. You don't just wash one fender, you wash the whole car. So I like the fact that people are understanding that you have to do a systemic cleansing because this fluid is systemic. And you can't just do a couple of weeks and think, oh, I got it. There's just no such thing like that. That's just peeking around the door. You got to plan on months or take a year or two out of your life. But once you start feeling better and better and better, it's self-motivating. It's self-motivating. Yes, there's so much influences in life. There are a lot of influences in my side that brought me up and down. And I think most of you are going to find your life doing just like mine. Up and down, up and down. Going after it hard, falling off the wagon, going on, falling off. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast, depending on your situation. Those that are very strong and they have the opportunity to have a lot of self-discipline where they're not directed outwardly so much, tear it up. Tear it up. She can usually stick to fruit all day, but at night I get this sudden urge to get a normal diet. Well, do that. And that's why I'm thinking, that's why I'm putting this way, because night's darker, more emotional. For those that have weak adrenals, the nighttime's going to bring this. And so you're looking for something. I think the best thing is to have your salad and have maybe some steamed vegetables or a baked sweet potato with that. With that said, though, that's not really the proper way to eat. That salad and vegetables and potato would be better at lunch and have a light fruit meal at night. But we're detoxifying. And if you look at detoxifying, the longer you can run, because look at the difference between fruit detoxification, water detoxification, and then dry fasting. I mean, each level, each one is a deeper level into the world of detoxification. I recommend you have some degree of health before you dry fast. But certainly water fasting is universal. Matter of fact, you notice how a lot of people lose their appetite. Especially when they're sick, they don't even want to eat anything. Some of our clients, we have a hard time getting the fruits down them because they just don't want to eat. So I'm definitely for fasting, but I'm also been a real cautious, maybe overcautious through the years with water fasting. I'm just real cautious. And we have so many of the extreme side of critical that I would never do that to those. So generally I just don't pull it into the other ones either, but I probably should do more of that, no question. I do see sediment in my urine only on some days, as well as mucus in my throat. Good. So that you're starting to see things happen. You're starting to get the sediment in your urine. You're starting to see the mucus coming out. That's just what you want to see, and you just keep working that, and you keep working that, and you just, you try all these different levels. Some of you YouTubers up there, like Yaz and Thailand, boy, you're way out there. This guy's dry fasting once a week. He's total on the fruits and the berries. I mean, it's just amazing. Of course, he has access to these, and they are of a high quality. And so then the taste, I mean, you can live forever like that. I've been watching your eye videos and can see that the left side of my body is weaker than my right. See? I love it. Didn't you love that? Because that science is so simple, I felt that everybody should know that one. Every household should learn iridology. It's so simple to learn. And Jensen had an iridology simplified book. Nice, cute little book. Nice, easy to read for the average layperson. Pretty cool. I don't think she's had it printed or reprinted yet, but I think it's a nice little book for that. Let me see here. The two things that really stood out to me is my stomach ring. It balloons out, and I believe I have a malabsorption ring as well. Yeah. The second is I have very distinctive nerve rings, which I know is caused by my weak adrenals. Well, honey, you're 20 years old, and at 20 years old, you're going to have probably nerve rings and real weak adrenals. So, that's why my heart is out there. That's why I don't sell these videos. These are for you, help you, because we have to pull ourselves out of this. The human race needs to look at this, and so these babies, because you know yourself, if you're 20 years old and you conceive and have a baby, they're going to get what you got, but weaker than when you got it, because you obviously wouldn't have a baby now until you're 21 or 22 or older. I would get my body healthy before I had children in today's world. It's just something you want to think about. You want to go beyond your own emotional thinking and go into the thinking of bringing in superior beings to the planet, because that's what you're doing when you conceive. You're bringing in souls to this planet. And the healthier the body, the you're going to pull some interesting souls here. And so I think making the healthy, with the healthcare like it is, and the expenses, it's all going to crash in on itself. And it needs to, because it's so out of control. The medical world is literally out of control. And it's like the IRS here in this country. They're literally out of control again. So now we're going to have to rein them in. Either we put them in jail or we do something. We're going to have to rein them in, and that'll be lucky to get them in jail. We can fine them, but that's the sort of thing. And if these sheriffs start waking up to their responsibilities, they'll arrest some of these IRS agents. Sheriffs have a lot of power, constitutional power. Anyway, yeah, so you want to really work on your adrenals and build those adrenals up. I don't know, my guess is you're going to have real low blood pressure here. So you want to work on that. I also just want to know, if I am not completely raw, will the herbs still work? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've had people just follow the same old diet that everyone else does and take the herbs, and they do get their improvements. If you're dealing in really deep issues like arthritis or systemic lupus, RA, that sort of thing, rheumatoid arthritis, all of those, Lyme's, lupus, cancers. These are chronic stages of lymph stagnation, and you're not going to be able to eat just a normal meal at all. Matter of fact, some people, we're not even getting them with the fruit level. And some of them are so weak it's hard to push them into the water level. And I'm just telling you, as a healer, we're faced with so many dramatic issues right now today. And the sad thing is, here we have a raging maniac over here called the AMA, or the medical establishment in their thinking, and you have us healers over here trying to help these people as fast as we can, and try to help them, especially after the AMA says, well, that's all, we're done with you. I mean, some of these people are so advanced then with their level of acidosis and what they've done to these people and destroying the cells of their body. Some are hard to get back. There's no question. So I think that we all need to work together. Medical doctors need to wake up to their modality and the ridiculousness of that and come over and sit with us and let us all become one powerful system of healing. Because if you're a medical doctor for the right reasons, you're there to help people. And you know that you don't help people with chemicals only in stat emergencies. Let emergency room docs deal with that. And you deal with health and rebuilding people's tissues and getting this acidosis out. It requires a dramatic change in what your education taught you. But that's okay. Sometimes we're taught wrong, and I've been taught things that weren't true or half true. And so, okay. So if we work together, though, we'll be able to do a lot of work in this world, because the healthcare as it is crashing. And it's financially bankrupt everybody. And you just can't keep going that way, not only from a financial picture, but what are we doing to man's cells and tissues by using toxic pharmaceuticals to suppress the body's need to heal itself? It is just an unreal scenario that we're facing from that. Let me see. I understand all raw will move the detoxification process much faster, but I need your help and advice to stick to all raw food. You don't have to stick to all raw, sweetheart. Definitely do some steamed vegetables if you want at night. Maybe some vegetable soups. Maybe a baked sweet potato, something like that. But through the day, really hit it hard. Even if you have to make a big bowl of fruit, keep it in the refrigerator with a tight lid on it, and then just dig yourself a bowl every couple of hours and just eat it. And just make you a beautiful fruit bowl. Fruit salad, if you will, and enjoy that off and on all day long. Or have big bowls of fruit at morning and lunch, in between meals, or do green drinks in between meals. Depends what level you need to do to get to where you need to get. The deepest levels that are in the body are going to require all fruit fasting, fruit juice fasting, or water fasting, to say the least. And we might even see the need for dry fasting in the future. It's just that bad. So I don't know, balance yourself out a little bit so you're happy and you enjoy doing that. You enjoy eating the fruits through the day, and then you enjoy your supper at night. Because when you don't enjoy, this does like this. and I eat at a restaurant and the chef is not having a good day, I don't have a good day because I eat his food, and I am so sensitive to people's energies and vibrations that I get all upset in here if the cook is mad or not having a good time. And it's just like, well, there's a salad. And I said, I know, but it's definitely the preparer. So you have to be careful with that sort of thing. So here's one for Aaron. I do have a question about tonsils, and thanks for your love, my friend. I had mine removed when I was 2 years old, along with my adenoids, by doctors who thought it would cure my chronic ear infection problem. I know. Isn't that amazing? Surprise, surprise, it didn't work. Yeah, I know. You know, the surprises aren't nice when they're like these kind of surprises. And maybe if go back in 1950s and something, the ignorance was pretty good there. But right now, there is absolutely no excuse. Since the 1980s or 90s at least, there's no need to pull people's tonsils. I mean, we've been teaching people this. I've been teaching people this, what, my 42nd year or something? And Dr. Jensen, even though not a vitalist at this level, still incredible healer, taught this for 75 years. And yet, the level of consciousness on this planet was not able to perceive even that. Hell, if you go back, only a few even perceived Adele Davis, and she was horrid. I no longer get the debilitating ear infections. You want to really drain your sinuses there, though, and really get this bowel cleaned up. And it seems like that's what we're talking about today. And really clean this sinus and drain this. Candle your ears. Definitely do 3 candles per ear at the very least. And you might want to do a series of 2 or 3 times, about once a month. And just start opening this up and loosening up this hardened mucus and stuff and pull this out. That stopped about 15 years ago. Now, the problem with that is that unless you detoxified that out, it's gotten deeper in the brain. So we need to really, detoxify that head of yours. Part of me thinks I just don't notice them anymore because about every other checkup at the doc's, they tell me I have an ear infection. Well, just pull that out. An infection is as acidosis. Lymphacidosis, and you just pull that out and clean that out while you're cleaning up the gut. Use the GI broom, guys, clean up those bowels because you're going to have some issues there. And then get those kidneys open up, the adrenals with that, and just start pulling that lymph. See if you can get into a cold and flu. Use the 3-lung tea to help break up mucus in the head. Go hug somebody that's sick. Things like that. Absolutely. Anything that you can get to drain that sinus, take advantage of it. If it's a bacterial strain the body's not accustomed to, or an overgrowth in the body, it'll purge itself. That's what the body does. We don't need doctors to do that. The body knows how to purge itself automatically. You just have to learn how to ride with it or promote it, which is just what we're doing. Your body's doing all the work. They tell me I had also because of all these ear infections and the constant administering of drugs, I feel sorry for this lad, I had a mild allergic reaction to penicillin, no kidding. So that means you have a lot of sulfur now in your gut, and this is back at 8 years old. So that was saying that he was accumulating too much sulfur already from all the vaccinations, probably the surgery and stuff like that. I'm now 34 and I'm always stuffy in the sinus area. In one way or another, not to the point where I cannot breathe through the nose, but a bit congested all the time. So my questions are, and it do like me, it gets in the teeth. I was raised on milk, nose drops, so it broke down my teeth and my gums. And it's just, just one of those things. So my questions are all these related? Yes. I'm guessing they are. Yes. Second, can I regenerate these nodes, and how would I start the process? Just what we're talking about here. Get on the raw, do the diet as we've laid out here with the fruits, berries, and melons all day long, and the salad at night. If you can afford the herbs, hit on to the herbal program. Hit the 2 kidneys, hit the 2 lymphatics as we've laid out here in previous videos, and go after that. One time, if you can give me some feedback on this, I'll put all the herbs out here and I'll go over why we use them. I mean, I do have a video that you can get for that. I think we charge $5 or $10 to cover the cost of the video, but you can get that. but I don't mind doing it for you on YouTube at all and go through these formulas and how we'd use them. We definitely are going to at the advanced healing class. We did earlier, but we're going to get more aggressive with this because we have to learn how we all interact and how we work people through these, because understanding the basics is pretty cool, and then working with others to work them through their issues, that's the big one. When to hold them, when to fold them, when to work them through, when to pull, when to go, you know, those sort of things. How do you deal with healing crisis? Some are not much, cold and flu, simple things like that. Others are very dramatic, but a lot of pain, you know, all kinds of problems. Vision problems, spasticity. I've had everything under the sun, and still I see something new every once in a while. So, now, or am I doomed to keep the inherent transverse colon? You cut that already. Sinus problem. No, you're not doomed at all, Aaron. Just get in there and dig, 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 and you'll clean all that up and rebuild that. Nobody's doomed unless you see yourself that way. The Book Handbook. Huh. Robert, everyone is talking about Dr. McCullough's recent newsletter featuring an all-fruit diet and its links with pancreatic cancer. Oh, I addressed that yesterday. Yep. God. I hope you guys had the sense not to fall for that crap and that you understood that that's just a bunch of crap. Again, just the negative forces putting doubt in your face. Just be aware of that. Know and understand what's true. I've laid out all the reality. I went into the body. I showed you that we're a frugivore body. I showed you that our physiology is frugivore. I showed you that National Geographic is in line with that. I showed you the proper diet for man. At the same time, there's balance because of where man has been, no question. So, yeah, and when you start looking at all that, the herbs are obvious. The herbs are obvious. All the animals use them. We've used them for what? There's no time where I don't think we ever didn't use them. They say we have 5,000 years of recorded history. Perhaps, maybe even more. So man has always used the plant to consume for one thing or another, for his healings, for his energetics, one thing or another. Man in particular has gathered fruit. You put man in a tropical island and you're not going to be putting in gardens. You're going to have plenty of fruit trees. You won't even waste your time. Now, did you read this one? Clara Lynn, listen, sweetheart, this is great. I thought this was really great. She just got an out-of-body experience here. And she was watching our video last night when it was time. This is so cool. I really love this because this is the other side of this. Don't ever be afraid because you have yourself. If you get and spend time with yourself, and you count on yourself for your security, because nothing can affect you that you don't allow. You can get real strong that way. So you can have fun without fear, because all of you on this channel is well protected. You've got a lot of spiritual beings working with us. So you're well protected. And if not, you know, call out the name of your spiritual guide, of Jesus, of Buddha, God. Call on God. Put an auric of golden light and love around you, where there's a mirror around you, where everything coming in, thoughts and feelings from others are reflexed back to them. You don't allow them in your world. Your world is what you allow in. If you want to allow something in, come on in. No, you're not going to come in here. And get strong that way and have fun. Out-of-body traveling is fun. And you shouldn't be afraid of that, because you're going to leave your body one day or another. Why not have some fun and understand more of what this process is, and you lose the whole fear? Then you see what's really going on here in creation and just what it is. The movie of the day. Yeah, let's watch this one. But this is good, Claire. Fantastic. I love that stuff. A lot of you guys are working with out-of-body experiences now, and have fun with that. Don't be scared. It's not devil. It's not evil. You're a soul. You're not the physical body. Christianity, Catholicism, all the religions should have been teaching this. Those that don't are not helping their people like they should. God didn't create you out of fear or want you to fear it. That's ridiculous. That because you're a part of it. God doesn't fear itself. So you all should enjoy those things. So she had a great OBE here. I thought it was fantastic. And just keep surrendering, and once you become fully aware out of the body, then use your thought processes to put yourself where you want to be. If you don't see one of the masters or me with you, then, call on one of us, and we'll be there. And then if you're at the spiritual guide, have him take you to the 1,000-petal lotus, the mountain of Shahaswa del Khanwa. You can have him take you way up into the mental world and experience cosmic consciousness. Boy, that'll change you forever in every way, shape, or form. Hey, have fun. Open yourself up and enjoy life, but be always in control of the self. Don't let anything in. Unless you want them in, come in. Don't come in. Congratulations, Clara. This is fantastic. This is great. Did you guys read this? This is pretty good. Yep. You have definitely had an OBE there. Arrogance is hard to get rid of, isn't it? I know it. And I don't want it to creep in ever, ever, ever. I just will never forget the day Dr. Jensen and I were walking in the halls below this hotel, and we'd just given lectures, me and him both, and they gave us a bunch of awards, and Jensen just looked at his award and said, "Oh, just another one of these." And I looked at the my significant other, and I said, "If I ever say that, you take a 2-by-4 and you hit me upside the head." This is Tony. Good day, Dr. Morse. Good day, Tony. That's the name. My sister uses Tony for her name. I have a question. My dad has an upcoming surgery in 2 weeks. Ooh, February 28th. I hope he can get this up to, he probably won't get this up till tomorrow, for correction of a spinal stenosis. He was diagnosed about 5 months ago after having x-rays and MRIs due to tingling in his hands with discomfort. Upper. He also has in a motorcycle accident about 8 months ago. And this is what we're talking about. When you have trauma, when you have an accident, it has to heal. When you have weak adrenals, and of course the accident is going to dump your adrenals. So when you have weak adrenals and you have a highly acidic, lymphatically stagnant body, you don't heal well from these. And of course that inflammation from acidosis, from just not only the trauma, and all the proteins that were broken down and sitting there, but all the acids from the cells in that area as those cells are continuing to function. So you have all of that that's building up in those areas. So what you see a lot of time, of course, is calcium being yanked out of the structure, be it the spine, be it the bones anywhere, be it the connective tissue. And so you can see why. And this is true post-surgery. This is true everything. That's why in hospitals, in ICUs, don't bring me a barbecued beef sandwich with French fries like they did that one guy I told you about, which killed him. Because you could have saved that guy. 43-year-old male, post-MI, easy to save. Nope. So you should never get anything but fruits, berries, and melons in the ICU, along with herbal teas, ingestion of herbs, IV therapy with herbs. You can pull all those people out of there in half the time, save these people's lives, and we make it such a critical thing. It's just amazing if you apply some of their equipment with what we do. It's about the equipment, don't you? What we do, that'd be cool. They've suppressed us so much, none of us has ever had the money to do anything like that. In which he broke his right shoulder and all the ribs on the right side. Now, what other thing would you look at in this man? Parathyroid. Absolutely. Good take. Also, terrible road rash. Oh, my God. On his face. Oh, that's horrible. A friend of mine bit it. Some lady pulled out in front of him. They had to airlift him. Oh, never was right after that. I felt so bad for that, my friend. It was sad, sad, sad. Down here in Florida, there's a motorcyclist killed almost daily. After you get so old, you lose your vision. I mean to tell you, not even funny down here. He has been feeling bouts of tingling and pain on his right shoulder and hand since. Well, again, when you have trauma and you have accidents like this, it would be great if you were directed to hit up on a detoxification program. You're cleaning out all the damaged tissue and you're moving that lymph, because it's going to go through the lymph. And if you can't, then you can't even remove the damaged tissue. So all these are still a lot of proteins set up on more acidosis. And so these areas are just hard to heal like that. And then, of course, then you see, because it's acidic, to slow or curtail the acidosis effect on the surrounding cells, the body's going to try to use calcium. Well, what happens when calcium comes out of matrix? It ionizes in a different way, and you end up with calcifications and stenosis. Or it could be cholesterol, it could be lipids the same way. It doesn't matter which one. And then, of course, remember, what's the third thing? Yes, edema, water, absolutely. Yes, I have had experience with spinal stenosis. And I'll tell you, what would you have to do with spinal stenosis? Meaning, calcifications. You need to get what going? What system would you have that problem in, and why would you have it? Acidosis, lymph system, and you'd hit the kidneys and adrenals, and you really start cleaning that system out, which he needed to do right after the accident. And he could have healed many times faster, and he probably will have some healing crisis in that shoulder, no question. Wherever he's had trauma, he's likely to have some healing crisis in those areas because they've never really healed. And then if there's any nerve damage, the fruits and the berries and the melons, use the brain and nerve formula. That'll help to strengthen the nerves there. There's so many. The beauty of herbal pharmacopoeia is that it is so massive, and it is so much fun, and it is so great. Our little friends. Let me introduce you to my little friend. I mean, there's so many great friends in nature. And there's this idea that man is so fearful. Medical doctors, you can't take herbs, they'll hurt you. I love that one. If you don't have the wisdom of a question, don't answer it. Any treatment for it other than surgery. Absolutely. It's going to take some work. Depends how much time he has, how bad he's getting here, how much compression or rupture or whatever's going on there. But to fix this properly. Now, remember that his whole body is going to be involved with this. So he needs to do this no matter what he chooses with the surgery. I'm worried he has never had anything of significance wrong with him physically and has been fit his life. Now here's an example of someone that's fit in his life, what appears to be fit, but he's not healing well and he's getting stenosis. That's not fit. It appears fit because a person isn't going down, they get up every day, they go to work every day, they do all these things, but this man isn't fit. This man has lymphatic problems, and therefore he's getting stenosis from that. Even though you can blame it on the accident, we're supposed to heal. Your body's a healer. Remember, I said up in these fruit levels, so one way you can tell you're getting alkaline, cut yourself. Of course, you might not want to do that, but Arnold Ehret recommended it. I've proved it. And when you get way up there on the fruit and the berries and the melons and you're way up there, you can cut yourself. It won't bleed, and the next day you won't even see where you cut yourself. That level is phenomenal. You see Roger, he wasn't even at that level. And you see what his body did in that video? The quad, the regenerate, the severe scoliosis to the right, the fractured upright femur, the body pulled that leg straight, the femur and the spine at the same time. Like the body just rearranged itself. What did that? So that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. And he wasn't up at that all fruit level. Trying he was, but he wasn't there. So he didn't get the nerve regeneration in 11 months like I would have seen, but this man was down 36 years or 39 years. That's a long time down. So, I thought he did excellent. Unbelievable. And that's where you want to try to take some of these bodies that are hurt like that. But what appears to some people as being healthy isn't really healthy. I had a couple in yesterday, and he said, well, I've been to medical doctors, and I'm pretty healthy. They didn't find anything wrong. And I said, but I didn't examine you. You go to a medical doctor and get a general examination, that's like blowing the top off of a beer. We take it all the way down. I mean, we're looking at everything in the body and how it's working. We're looking at stats a lot closer. We're looking where you're going. We care for people so much more. It's unbelievable. And we give them the time. My appointments are 2 hours, initial appointments, because I'm looking at I'm looking at your stats, I'm looking at everything. I'm showing your eyes, I'm showing you your whole body. That is a true physical. Not these pseudo-physicals you go to an MD and, you're good. Not on your life. A lot of years ago, 60 Minutes, I think it was 60 Minutes, or Eye on America, they were out to slander Dr. Jensen big time. And there was a big expo in Las Vegas, and there was 2 iridologists there. One was a female and one was a male, and you could tell the female was fairly new at it. So they found an athlete. They had a medical doctor do a basic physical on her. Everything good, strong athlete, well, you're in good shape. So they went to the female first. And I can't remember so much about her. She was kind of, she wasn't that good, but she was okay. Then they took her to the male. Well, the male was obviously a lot more learned. So he's and I was watching this video. And he was naming this and this and this and this. And I was watching the athlete's response to that as he was telling her that. And you could tell she was recognizing that he was nailing her. Well, 60 Minutes or Eye on America, whoever did this one, was freaked out, said, this guy, look at this guy. He told this athlete all these things that was wrong with her, and the medical doctor already said she had nothing wrong with her. So iridology is a scam. And now this poor lady has to live with all these things. This iridologist, this is what she said, that this news lady, that this athlete will have to live all her life with what that iridologist told her. And the medical doctor told her she had nothing wrong. Let me say that if you're a good iridologist, you can nail someone pretty good. And let me tell you, if you don't believe in iridology, I suggest you change your mind, because it is an incredible science. Now, this athlete was warned. But that's a kind of pseudo thing. They did the same thing to Dr. Kerry Reams. Remember the urine guy? And a lot of people, I did the reams way back then, looking at the urine. And they had a bunch of guys peeing in a jar, and then they took this urine to Kerry Reams and said, analyze it. So he analyzed it. And he came up with, the facts, which you would in chemistry. Everything seeks a homeostasis, so you could have 20 people pee in a jar. You're still going to come out with a set of stats. And that was unfair because, everybody's going to come up with stats. But Kerry Ream was a biochemist and had a lot going on up here. And so they took this the report from Kerry Reams to a medical doctor. And Kerry Reams, was looking at all the sugars and the albumins and all these sort of things. And, very advanced thinking. And I want Wally Safer, one of them says, what does these mean to you? And this medical doctor said, this means absolutely nothing. Well, of course it didn't. To him, he wasn't learned. But he was a big old fat medical doctor that just gave an opinion that showed his ignorance. I don't give an opinion of something I don't know anything about. That would be narcissism. That would be ridiculous, and that wouldn't be fair to the universe. And so it was just, and all the people watching that show probably got a bad feeling about iridology, even subconsciously, from that, So it's just that sort of thing, and you're in that kind of world there. Let me see. Can it be corrected in naturopathic way? Thank you for all your help. Thank you so much, Tony. Absolutely. Naturopathic way. This is the God's way. This is the healing. This is the only way you can regenerate the body on this earth. There's only one way. Whether you use fruits or vegetables, okay. With bones, you can add the vegetables in there. Neurologically, you can't. So it depends what levels you're working at and where you want to go with this. We're into regeneration of the human body. Call it naturopathic, call it whatever. Doesn't matter what you call it. We're into the highest healing that I think that's out there. I haven't seen anybody out-heal us yet. And you YouTubers are knocking them dead, I hear. So it's just neat to see that, how all of us are pulling all these people out of this, and I've done it most of my life. And it's just proofs in what you can do clinically with people, not with what pseudoscience or theories say. Just remember those things. Don't fall into these traps. Mercola's falling into these traps. Let him fall and sink himself. That kind of thing was stupid. And anybody with half a brain should have looked at that and said, man, this guy just made himself look stupid. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. John, first of all, thanks, man. Appreciate it. This is a young man, 20 years old, and I've been struggling with prostatitis since I was 17. Now, this guy's only 20 years old. He has prostatitis, means the swelling, inflammation, medical word, inflammation, or what we know, acidosis in the prostate. Well, to have that happen to where the prostate is always inflamed, always swollen, prostatitis, what would have to be taking place? Does he have blood backed up in the prostate? He has what backed up in the prostate? Lymph. So now let's go back to real close to the prostate. What do we find? Monsieur kidneys. We have 2 kidneys in that body of this 20-year-old. And what do we say about the 17, 20-year-olds, the 5-year-olds? We're seeing massive kidney weaknesses, chronic kidney weaknesses, massive around the globe. It's like the homeopath in Romania. She was saying, I see it all over the place. I have a good friend in Ireland, and she's been over to our classes. She comes over once in a while and sits with me, Margie, and her husband's a naturopath. She's a naturopath. She's an RN. And all I can say is when we started talking about kidneys, she said, my God, I see it everywhere. So, it's your kidneys, John, and you really got to get after those kidneys. And at 20, you probably have a pretty good set of weaknesses there, and get those adrenals on top. Kidney and adrenals come as twins. I should tape those 2 formulas together. It's hard to get adrenal herbs in with kidney herbs and have power there, so that's why they're separate. You know, you can only power up formulas so much, you only have so much room to put herbs in there. That's why you have multiple formulas. And so, but the Heal All Tea works well, and I just put a little of everything in there. So it's interesting. I've been on antibiotics and gave up on Dr. C. This is the problem. They're killing all the bacteria in John here because of what? Acidosis? I mean, oh, excuse me. It's a redundant issue that must stop. This overuse of antibiotics for the wrong reason. It's just ridiculous, and that's what you're seeing here with this. This poor kid gave him full of antibiotics, already break down his immune system, shut his lymph system down even further. Thank you. I mean, this is the problem. If you're going to use the word health in the way you show yourself to the world, by God, you better be involved in health. And now we're using the word health, or they are, in their literature, the medical profession. They're not about health. And that needs to come out. That needs to change. Reality, truth, facts. That's what's real. They have flat out told me they did not know what the cause of it is. I decided to go toward, when they wouldn't. They're not trained that way. And then, you know, even naturopaths are not really trained that way. So not just beat up the medical doctors. There's a bunch of wacko naturopaths out there giving people high-protein diets and stuff like that. Naturopathy is about no meat eating, if you hadn't noticed. New times, but we can slip that back in. That's the negative forces trying to mutate naturopathy. Something that's pure always seems to get mutated at this level, doesn't it? Naturopathy was about the elimination of animal products, period. Now naturopathy is high protein. No, that's not naturopathy. That's naturopathic medicine, which is vomitous to me. I decided to go toward natural approaches to curing my prostatitis. I have been getting acupuncture for about a year now. Really got to go after your kidneys and adrenals, bro. Acupuncture, don't waste your time. Get in there. You got to roll up your sleeves and get in there and get that body detoxed out of there, son, and get that cleaned up, and you'll be done. And you won't lose that prostate, because the longer you wait, the more burn's going to happen to that prostate. You've had it for 3 years, so you don't want, I don't know if you have a PSA here you wrote down here. I don't see one, but you want to back away from that. Prostate cancer is everywhere, and this is where you're going, so you want to back away from that. I feel they got me about 65% better, although my acupuncturist was puzzled as to why he could not cure me. Why in the hell would you think acupuncture could cure acidosis? I'll never for the like of me ever understand that. That's not what acupuncture's job is. And if acupuncturists think that, they need to rethink, because that's not their job. They're a therapeutic modality, not a curative modality. And a therapeutic modality is there to help you with the pain and the blockages. That's why you use the needles. It's the same thing as therapeutic touch, the old nurse's Nightingale thing. And we used to use therapeutic touch here a lot on people and move that dammed up energy around. You can do that. It's like a good massage, acupuncture, chiropractic adjustment, all good stuff. Love all those guys. But it's not curative, and everyone must understand that. Curing means you're going after the cause of the problem, and you're going to, and if you notice by now what the cause of most man's problems are. And you just have to physically look at that. You have to physically look what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're breathing, what you're putting on your skin. You have to see if your kidneys are filtering. You have to take a look at that. Well, the one science that can take a look at this whole thing is iridology. And that was discovered by a surgeon. So it's a beautiful science for medical, naturopathic, and homeopathic people. All science for all people to use. Let me see here. Clean up diet, which of course is the standard American diet. And that's why you have prostatitis. I mean, that's why you continue to have it, John. So you got to get out of this. You get yourself back in there. You've got fatigue, your kidney discomfort at times. Hello. Here he goes. He admits it right here. He has kidney discomfort at times. Well, that's where the problem is. And then he has pelvic discomfort. That's what I'm saying, John. Get your butt in gear and get this done, because you lose your hips on your knees, and you just don't want to do this. This is all acidosis backing up all through you. So you want to tear this up. Get on the fruits all day long, the berries, the melons, and tear this up. Get on some kidney formulas, because the problem isn't in the prostate. That's the effect. The cause is kidney and adrenals. I have seen your previous videos on other prostate issues. Decided to get the prostate formula, kidney, bladder. Yeah, now he's thinking is good. The endocrine gland formula to work on my adrenal gland. Yeah, now he's thinking is good. Do you recommend any of the formulas to help get this out completely? I would do 2 kidney formulas. I would do 2 lymphatic formulas, 1 capsule and 1 liquid. Clean up the bowels while you're doing this, because there's that connection too. You can do lower circulation sometime if you want to do that one. But just keep moving that lymph. Diet is key right here. And just that's enough formulas. Now focus on the diet too. And get that diet in there pulling on you, and clean that out. I've been trying to focus on my diet of fruits, berries, and melons. I have also seen a video which you did an orange diet for 6 months. Yeah, all of that stuff, John. All of that stuff. And you will be good. And now's the time to do it. You're only 20 years old. Don't go any farther, because I'm serious. Prostate cancer in the young is all over the place, and you're headed right there, and you're headed to lose your hip. Stop. Get that cleaned up. You're done. Rebuild the hip. Check your parathyroid gland. Now listen, there's a lot of these questions that are very important. And that's one of them. And if I can't get to you, and there's a lot of you I just can't get to, I deeply, deeply regret and apologize. But I'm still seeing people physically, and I just can't get to everybody. So if you're hurting, you got to call in and try to get some help through our staff, because you don't want to wait. John, you don't want to wait anymore. Waiting, nothing ever good comes of waiting. I've seen a lot of doctors say, well, we'll just wait and watch. Right. Guarantee you what you're going to see. This is Miss Wyatt. Hi, Doc Morse. I just opted out of a fusion surgery for C5 and 6. I'm very healthy, growing my own organ. Interesting, we're talking a lot about this today. A lot about the spine, and a lot about the calcifications, and all these sort of things like this, Interesting. Healthy, growing my own organic foods and making and growing my own herbal tinctures. I have currently been taking Dr. Christopher's Complete Tissue formula, the Bone, Flesh, and Cartilage. I used that myself a lot of years ago till I realized I need to make a lot better one. Just saying. You really need to use something a lot better. I don't find this formula really that great. If you look at the herbs in there, they're not that great. They really don't have a lot to do with bone and tissue repair. There's so many great herbs for that far and beyond that formula. I thought that was a very lame formula that he put out, no offense. Get yourself, check your parathyroid, that's vital. Check your fingernails, check for bruising easy, varicose veins, spider veins, hemorrhoids, prolapsing, wrinkles in the skin, saggy breasts, whatever, prolapsing uterus, bladders. That's all connective tissue weaknesses and stuff, you know, parathyroid. Definitely got to do the lymph. Got to get that lymph about draining out of that head, down the back, get those kidneys opened up, work on your neurolymphatic points. Definitely want to supplement yourself with a lot of kelp. Get the bones formula or something like that. You can use supplement with kelp and alfalfa if you can't afford a superfood. Buy them that way. They're cheap. Alfalfa, incredible plant. Not enough to say about kelp, any seaweed like that, but you want to make sure your parathyroid is working well with that. The modification, what else can I do? Get a better formula, to be honest with you, and get those kidneys and adrenals working there, and definitely get that lymph moving. Start having work on your back, down each side of the spine on neurolymphatic points. Start trying to get this whole thing to drain. Get your kidneys filtering so you can get all these acids out near the spine up there. Clean the lungs out. You're getting real close to the lungs here, so clean those out, and it'll rebuild. But make sure you check that parathyroid and go after that a little bit if you have to. Now, this is Nora. Beautiful flower. Love the beautiful flower. Yellow is one of my favorite colors. But that white horse is beautiful. I was taken to a place one time, and everything was white, and it was like feather white, and everything. There's beings were in these robes of feather white, but everything was trimmed in gold. Everything was trimmed in gold. And I was having a discussion with a spiritual being sitting on a chair. And everything was so intense. It was hard for me to hear the message because it was so intense. Neat stuff. Neat stuff out there in the worlds of God. Hi, Robert. My name is Nora. I am Romanian. Go Romania! Boy, I've got a lot of you beautiful Romanians there. I hope you're getting your stuff together over there and you get your people well. I know Turkey also suffering. I know a lot of people around the world are suffering. And outside of what the governments are doing, we need to get all of us healthy and happy. I mean, we need to live on this earth and have some happiness. Stop the wars. I don't know how you're going to do that in the Middle East. I just have no clue. Bring in a lot of colonic machines. Start dropping fruits, berries, and melons on everybody, and, you know, herbs and everything like that. Flower essences, moonshine yarrow all around. And I just want to let you know that I, too, consider myself a healer. Absolutely. You know, the woman is the healer. The woman's side of myself is the healer. The male side is the conqueror, the wanting to set things straight and right. But the female side says, settle down. But healers, absolutely. I'd like to see all you YouTubers become healers. I really would. The healing profession at this level is one of the most rewarding. It's also the most stressful because you're dealing in people's lives, their emotions. Like I said, we have people call us up one day cussing us, call it the next day, I'm sorry, the next day laughing. I mean, it is traumatic on people's psychic when they're detoxifying. And some people are right on the edge anyway, emotionally and mentally, and very difficult. Don't let yourself fall off of these edges because you'll have to pay one day, one way or another. Grab yourself. Grab the power of yourself. Spend some time alone. Love yourself. Not narcissistically, not egotistically. The fact that you have awareness, the fact that you're a part of the God force of life. Respect that. And give that out. Don't let your mind and your emotions carry you over the edge. Sometimes it's a long fall down and a long climb back. There is feel suffering her as well. There is feel suffering her as well. But here, I don't know what you're saying, but here people suffer more than from the mind. Wow, I am working myself up. So a lot of people are suffering in their mind in Romania. Wow, awareness of brief please. So you know you have her strong backup if you ever need it. Love you. Oh, thanks. Namaste. Namaste to you, Nora. Absolutely. You be that healer woman where you are. And the mind, teaching people how to live free in the moment, become like little children again. At the same time, with wisdom and truth behind you. And get yourself collected and start having fun. Practice out-of-body experiences. We know what the earth is like. Oh, Glinda. Hi, sweetheart. Please elaborate more on gemstones. Well, if you can find the book, Gifts from the Gemstone Guardians, I think it's called. Gifts from the Gemstone Guardians. You'll find a lot of spiritual side of gemstones that you really don't see in these other books on the spiritual side of gemstones. And that's connecting with the spiritual beings that work with the gemstones. If you want to know about gemstones, in your meditation, ask to speak to the guardian of whatever gemstone you would like and listen. When you ask something, then listen and be awake to what comes to you. And see if you can find out. I have a whole coursework here from the people that wrote that, and it was a fun teaching those classes. They were making some of these gemstone necklaces and stuff, and whew, you could feel the energy and the presence, and real powerful stuff. But remember, you have nothing. You, the soul, you are not even from this level. So always know that you're so much more powerful than the things of the earth. That these are tools that you can use to enjoy the beauty of, because all these things come out of the body of God. And it's like treasure hunting, you know? It loves to go treasure hunting. Don't you? This is N-U-K-L-E-U-Z, Nuke. Hi, Dr. Morse. Hi, sweetheart. Thanks for the vids again. I have a quick question. What type of hair gel you use? Well, it's called Earth Essentials, Earth Elements. I actually got it at a professional shop. It's supposed to be all natural. I was such in a hurry I didn't have time to totally read the bottle, but it's real light because my hair just kind of hang down if I don't, so it's real light stuff. I think I couldn't find anything naturally for that, so I'm going to find, that what you would find totally herbal or something. This is supposed to be predominantly herbal, so we'll see. I'll look at it and get back with you on that. Here's Matt. Hi, Dr. Morse. I just found your channel. This is literally the second video of yours I've clicked on. Wow. I love your perspective and views on health, society, and the world. Thank you, my friend. I hope I'm just echoing most of us in our fears and in our desires and in our wants, you know. I have played with the idea of a vegan fruitarian diet, but I have yet to find a primitive culture that follows a strict vegan diet. Probably won't either. You know, I think an important thing is not to always look back, but to look forward. You know, because the past is dead, and of course the future's dead too, actually. The only reality is always in the present moment. And they always say the future is nothing more than a succession of nows. And that's what time is. Time is nothing more than a succession of nows, that we put a sequence with that, and we put a time factor to that. That life is nothing but a bunch of nows. So looking back at what societies did and didn't do, who cares? You know, we're growing, and this is what I said about this channel. I can only tell you where I screwed up and what I did wrong, and hopefully you guys can avoid that. Some of you don't. It's just a pitfall we all fall into. That's what makes us one, and that's where we should be joyful together, because it'll laugh it off. We did okay, great. You know, it's a hole we all fell into. Oh well. We need to relax and be happier with each other. That's for sure. But looking back in societies, to me, is not where it is. That shows us what we did wrong, not what we need to go back to. If you saw anything, go to the islanders, the older islanders that were raised exclusively on fruit, and take a look at them. Take a look at how they look, Take a look at their age, the skin tone. I mean, it's just amazing. And interview them and see at their stories. And they're just incredible, because I interview everyone that comes from the islands in that way. And it's just amazing to hear that. So you want to look at those people that represent the Homo sapien in the lifestyle he should be at. And that would be fruitarian, that would be islander. Not saying it's possible right now. I really am not. I'm not advocating to become a fruitarian. Although I would love to be a total fruitarian again. Ultimate, felt the best. But like was talking to Yaz, you got to handle the power, man. You got to be able to handle the power you're going to get. And if you're unstable, emotionally or mentally, don't go there. I mean, you can get there to get your health back and everything, but be real careful, because when you start plugging into health and God, you're plugging into energy, baby. You're plugging into the highest of the high. You're not playing anymore with these low-level mineral energies and things like that. You're way on up there. That's why you see so dramatic changes sometimes. So sometimes we have to slow you down because it's too much energy, too much. So this is the thing. Always, I consider the humans needs to work toward this, to where we deal with it on a planetary level, where we have the pyramid greenhouses in northern climates, where we can supply fresh fruits, berries, and melons year-round to everyone. If we're going to live healthy on a planet like this, we have to do that. If there's those in the northern climates that want to have a little fish, okay. But we need to have all the other goodies with that. We have to have all the fruits, berries, and melons. If you want some vegetables, okay. But and maybe that's why man went this detour. From my own independent research, it seems that we can't survive without at least a minimum amount of animal products. Can you please address this? Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's just that where man has journeyed in the past has brought him to the now. And if you'll stop and look at man now, look at his journey. The foods he ate, we're not just a product of the Pepsis and the candy bars and the things like that. No, no, no. We're a product going all the way back, guys. And let me tell you, if you go back to some of the cavemen, look at their teeth, look at all the things, you don't find healthy people either. I mean, if you look at some of these National Geographic shows, which I watch all that because I get my material from some of these shows. And I also am looking at that. And you don't see health back then either. When you see the natural hygienic, if you ever went, I don't know where they are right now, but I'm telling you, if you ever went to a natural hygienic meeting, you're going to go with predominantly older people are, especially, maybe 20 years ago, all had their teeth, all had everything original. They were raised on predominantly raw foods. But I don't think you can say everybody's 100% raw all the time, and I don't think that's important. But I do think what's important is to eventually eliminate the decay, eliminate the proteins, eliminate the dairy products. These are essentials. Try it without it and see how you feel. Remembering that neurotransmitters is the big issue about meat, and that weak adrenals is what's the issue, the big issue. And so you just have to look at that. If you want a little meat, I really don't care what people want to do in their lifestyles. It's just you can't. But if you want to get well, you have to eliminate them. Well, wait a minute. If to get well you have to eliminate them, why would you eat them in the first place? Just saying. But you cannot get well with cancer or anything else eating dead animals. Impossible. Try taking an MS patient and getting them from a wheelchair to walking with meat. You're not going to do it. You can't do it. And it's just that's the issue. So just remember that. If you have to get rid of these foods to get well, why would you eat them back? Desire, sense of emotional balance. Okay, I'll buy those. But don't say that for a sense of health because it's inaccurate. There's nothing healthy about dead tissue. Now we can bring in the glandular concept, and I agree with you. That's tissue, absolutely. And we try not to keep people on them long. But I have some people that can smell them by using them, absolutely. You know, it's just where we're at the human race, in my opinion, and what we have to do to turn this gigantic downhill slide of the cell and turn it around. You have to. It's like all these, you see all these 20-year-olds writing in here. And my heart is right in their heart. I feel so sorry for the teens and the 20s just to get into life and have to suffer with these major problems, health problems. That's sad. They should, at 20, you should be out having fun, traveling the world and doing things, and not fighting your health issues. That's our fault. That's a parent's fault. You know, a lot of us weren't listening. Thank God I was 20 when I got into health. Some people don't get in until they're 60 or 70. I have 80-year-old, 90-year-olds. They didn't know. They trusted. I'm distributing your herbs in Australia and I'm struggling to keep my stocks full. Okay, I need to give that to her. Can't wait until April 3rd. Okay, I'll talk to her about that one. Oh, I gotta see what all that is. Now, this is another lady from Romania. This is Irene. I am 31 years old and I have some big health issues for about 5 years now. I am writing to you hoping you can give me some advice from your experience that you have with people in healing. 5 years ago, I have been through a divorce, and after that, because of my emotional state, I overate pizza. Bad, bad, bad. But the smell is good. Nothing like the smell of a pizza. But nasty. It's got all the bads. The white flours. You can get whole wheat, still bad. Then you got the cheeses. Then you got the cooked tomato sauces. Oh, the only thing on it, of course, you're getting a vegetarian one, right? So the only thing good is the vegetables. A lot of carbs, lots of banana milkshakes. I put a lot of weight, 7 kilos. It was too much for my body to handle. My height is about 163 centimeters and my usual weight is 50 kilos. And I don't know what those are. After that's one thing I didn't get into. But after overeating, I was 57 kilos. After this, my kidneys got sick. I got kidney stones. The doctor said started to have calcium problems. Fainted because of this. I moved back with my parents. Took a part-time job, which I hardly handled also because of my health state. I am kind of desperate. Don't know what to do. The big issue is that 1 year ago I got a vaginal yeast infection, which I couldn't heal by now, and this infection increased all the problems with my kidneys. Now, let's stop with that. She got some vaginitis. They call it an infection. And, of course, I'm sure she were given antibiotics for a yeast infection. But whatever. When we use the word infection, what comes to your mind first things first? Well, to the average mind, bacteria. Oh, I caught some bacteria. That is one of the worst things medical science, if I can even use that word and I'm being nice, put in people's minds. Forget the acid, forget the culturing medium, the terrain, forget all that. You can't forget that. The problem has always been in your kidneys, honey. Your kidneys is the problem. Vaginitis is the effect of that. So, and you don't want to go to the vulvodyne and all the other things either. You just want to get that lymph moving. Now, you would douche with some Heal All tea, and I would douche once a day for 2 or 3 weeks. Really clean that vaginal area out real good with the tea. At the same time, systemically, inside, you want to go 2 kidney formulas, you want to get the adrenals up, and you want to start moving your lymphs. Because it's just not in the vaginal area. This is going to be all through you, one level or another. And of course, the adrenals are going to bring down your nervous systems, and that's going to create all kinds of issues. And then, of course, all the steroid problems, all the mineral utilizations are off, and everything else becomes off. So you have to go in and fix that. This is a kidney problem, sweetheart, right along. I searched it a lot on the internet. Also went to a doctor that used a bioresonance machine to try to get a diagnosis at least. You know, you don't even need a machine to tell you what that is. If a doctor can't tell you what vaginitis or any problem with the female area is, what in the world are we doing as physicians? or healers or docs or whatever you want to call us. I mean, I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. You don't need a machine to tell you what's going on. You know what's going on. This is your lymph system. This is acidosis. Of course, you could have a yeast overgrowth, no question. It means you've been on antibiotics before. You need to clean all these antibiotic residues out of you, go on a fungal kill, do parasite M, get your kidneys filtering again, get your adrenals up, and start cleaning your body out, dear one. I have metabolic alkalosis. Because my kidney problems and imbalance of my calcium. And this is the one I read to you, which I disagree with you completely on this. You brought some interesting things out here, but I'm going to tell you I disagree with the way you've got this laid out. I believe in acidosis, not alkalosis. You have metabolic acidosis, not alkalosis, because my kidney problems and imbalance of my calcium phosphorus. Well, if you're not utilizing calcium, and you're having too much protein, you're going to have a lot of phosphorus levels, and you don't want high phosphorus. That wouldn't work. That's acids. The ionic calcium is at the bottom limit, and the phosphorus is at the highest limit. And you call that alkalosis, do you? Sorry, that's the problem with biochemistry. This is acidosis, dear one, and this is the problem with this. And you've given me all kinds of stats. The insulin is 30 on a scale between minus 40 to above 40. I don't know what your scales are there, sweetheart, so I can't help you there. But if you'll get rid of the alkalosis and call it acidosis, you'll find out more your problem. I don't believe in what you wrote here on this, about all this here, creating alkalosis with the carbon dioxides and stuff. The reduction in the hydrogen positive inhibitors and the pH-sensitive peripheral chemoreceptors. However, the retarded rate of respiration is followed by an elevation in PCO2 that may counterbalance the depression due to the action of the central. I think you're too intellectual with this myself, and I think you're citing theory. And I think if you break away from this and break away from this theory, you'll find out what your problem really is. This is a common biochemistry theory that I disagree with, because we are not all in alkalosis. Sorry. Renal metabolic alkalosis compensation through less effectual than respiratory compensation increases. You know, you're way too out of there. Even we're dealing with your bicarbonates. You're way over the top. You can't find remedy thinking in these ways. You're exciting theories that I find are not true. After divorce, I started to have panic attacks. Well, guess why? You just dumped your adrenals, which sets up systemic metabolic acidosis, not alkalosis. You shut down your steroids, you shut down your neurotransmitters, and if you notice the corticosteroids and what's their job. I also attended a Reiki course before, and I feel that I became more sensitive, too sensitive emotionally since then. And that is possible, too. That's what you have to be careful about, too, is getting too sensitive to energy in an unbalanced state. Because if you get really unbalanced, you'll get some sitters. You'll bring in some entities that you might not want. I am very scared because I feel very bad. But don't be scared. Get smart, get strong, get focused. Dump this theory that you're working on here, because you'll never find your problem with it. I've tried that for years. You don't find your problem. Go with actualities. Go with what we're doing, what you see clinically. And we're showing you what we see clinically. I don't deal with theories anymore. That's all medical theory. And you notice there's no curative value to medical thinking. Get that. I am very, okay, so don't be scared. Go after it. I also made an electroencephalogram last year, and the doctor told me that I have a chemical imbalance. Did I, to the was okay. The RMN to the RMN was okay. This was in August 2011 when all this started, but in the meantime, I feel that my health is not improving. Well, here's the thing. You don't have metabolic alkalosis. You have metabolic acidosis. Your lymph system isn't filtering through your kidneys. Your adrenals are down. You went through an emotional thing with your husband, and now it's down even more. Get that up there. Use Glandulars if you have to get that up there. And clear all that out. Give that person love and let them go. And let yourself go. And be free. and let it all go. It's done. Don't carry it around like a ball and chain. Get it out of the adrenal glands. Also, get yourself on your fruits, berries, and melons and start getting into your kidneys and your adrenals and get that moving. At the same time, I'd use upper circulation and brain and nerve. If you're low on serotonins and neurotransmitters, chemical imbalances, then get up there and move lymphs. If you need to work on the pituitary, work on the pituitary, the pineal, the thyroid, parathyroid, work on the endos if you want. Use the endocrine gland formula. And go after this. Douche with the Heal All tea, clean that vaginal area out, use Parasite M to get a hold of the fungus, and get your adrenals up to where you can metabolize sugars properly, and keep with simple sugars. And love to you, Irene. Grab it and go. This is P-E-G-U-E-S. Don't ask me to pronounce that one, K-E-I-S-H-A. Hello, I have watched a few of your vids and love your channel. Oh, thanks. I get a little off once in a while, but I'm glad to have you here. Thanks a lot. You have a wealth of info, and I have a question for you. I have had fibroid tumors for a while, since I was in high school. Isn't that something? This poor lady's had fibroid tumors since she was in high school. That's sad. Well, if your menses has been irregular, definitely check the pituitary. Go on the female reproductive formula for a while, and then go into the pituitary a little bit. The female reproductive does have pituitary herbs in there. At the same time, you want to douche a little bit just to kind of get the canal cleaned up and try to get it up into the uterus. With that said, you're going into the kidneys and adrenals because this is why you're getting the fibroids. Same reason why the young man had prostatitis. Same reason. So you want to go in and get the kidney and adrenals moving. You want to clean up that bowel, and we're going to start cleaning your body out. Absolutely. She's now 34, I think. They are not starting to cause me so much pain. They are not starting, or they are starting to cause you pain. Would you know the cause of the type of benign tumor? Oh, it doesn't matter. This is all lymph. All tumors are lymph until they start breaking down the cells. Now, that's the only time you see cancer is when your cells start to be broken down. Outside of that, it's tumors, cysts, or inflammation. But when it encompasses a cell long enough, it becomes intracellular acidosis. That's when you see the mutation of the DNA and the mutation of the cell itself. Now, there's a certain point you can convert that back. There's a certain point that you can regenerate that cell. If not, it needs to go through the lymph system to the lymph nodes where the macrophages will terminate it, or them. And this is just, again, acidosis in the uterine wall. And you got to be careful because the whole body is systemic. You get fibrocystic breast. It just goes on and on and on. And it becomes systemic inflammation. So many people say that too much estrogen is a cause. Remember what we said, estrogen is acidic. And it is definitely gasoline on the fire. The fire's already burning, honey. And that fire is your lymph system not filtering through your kidneys and the adrenals. So you get that all cleaned up, and you'll clean that fibroid out of there. And I would do it now, before you end up with a hysterectomy. I just found you. Rebecca, I just found you too. Hi, glad, welcome, welcome, welcome. Perhaps I have a chance at a pain-free life coming up now. You better, because we don't do pain here. We get that out. We send pain a packing. Do you have anyone in the Tucson, Arizona area? No, but I'd like to be in Sedona right now. I'm just saying. I like to lay under the ley lines. What do you mean? We are the ley lines, right? It's all your perception. Do you love the energy from the ley lines, or are you the energy that creates the ley lines? I believe I need to see someone who can help me get started on cleaning the lymph, kidneys, and heal. Well, call up either call up our clinic or get on the Facebook, Friends of Robert Morse, ND, and let those guys help you there. Because there are several Facebook sites. If you guys on the Facebook sites want to have Chris put those sites up so people can get a hold of you guys, we would love to do that, because that's what I want. I want to see you guys help all these people in the world, all you Facebook, all the way in Israel, all the way around. Have that link on our site so we can have these people get to you and where you can help them. I'm hearing incredible stories. So, that's the point. We're healers. We act like healers. We're ethical. We're moral. We're godly, and our job is to make you feel good and happy and healthy. And for those that are the more spiritual ones, we're going to tune you into the God channel, whatever wish you call it. Now, this lady is RA, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, about the same thing. This is systemic. This is chronic systemic acidosis. Now, you might check your eye, sweetheart, to see if you have orange in your pupil, because I'm telling you, I hardly ever see an RA case without a lot of sulfur. And that just adds for a lot of fungus, uric acid, da-da-da-da-da. So it's all about acidosis, but then the initiating factors. And like I said, RA tends to have a lot of sulfur. But irregardless, you have to clean it all out of you. It's going to take you a little time, but you can get yourself out of pain and you want to. Guess what's down in you? Big time adrenals. Hit the adrenals and get the kidneys going too, because you need those steroids in your body, no question. We have a new inflammation joints coming out. It should be stronger than the one we have. I have used my inflammation joints on RA a lot. Some people it helps, some people it doesn't. So you have to see that. If you're all twisty and gnarly, you really got to dig in. Get all this acid out of there so everything goes back to straight again. This is a very painful situation, definitely not fun. All your bodybuilders that pump proteins, if you want to know where you're going, talk to this lady right here, because that's where you're going. Anybody that pumps proteins and bodybuilds or athletes, you'll end up with RA. Not good. You know, it's not fun. You lose your joints. It's not fun. And it's not worth pumping protein. It's worth getting into pumping green protein if we could use it that way. Thank you for your comment to Life and the Truth. Thanks, sweetheart. I am excited to begin a cleanse. Get on it and get moving, sweetheart. If not, call the clinic or get up on these Facebook sites and let these guys help you. We're helping everybody around the world, and that's our job, and that's what we're here to do. And I'm going to have to cut here in a minute. And I have so many of you I haven't even got to. I just, please forgive me. There's so many of you that keep going. This is ISOFlight 30. Interesting. Mercury removal. This person's got 7 amalgam fillings in my mouth along with 2 root canals. I have looked into a holistic dentist. Too expensive. I said this before on this, that the holistic dentists think they're, I don't know. But you know what? My dentist is such a great guy. He follows all the procedures like everything else. Plus, you're going to detox. It's too late to worry about the mercury, if that's what you're worried about. But a normal dentist has to red bag it, has to pull it out just like it needs to. So the thing is have yourself a good dentist that can do this. Costa Rica has real cheap and very good dentistry. South Africa, some of these are the top dental places in the world. Portugal, these guys always laughed at American dentistry. Portugal also has incredible paper and an incredible ink. I just love the works in Portugal. My God. The total amount would be $11,000. Yeah, but you do want to get the amalgams out, get composite or enamel. As far as the root canals, though, I mean, I would hang on to them until they go on you, and then implant, because you know, you're just not going to pull your teeth out. You know, so definitely change the 7 amalgam fillings and get into the composites, though. I really want to take them out as soon as possible, but cannot afford it. Well, go slow and get the amalgams out first. Don't worry about the root canals, because you need teeth, and implants are very expensive. That's what I'm going through. And all this congestion from my sinuses early on in my life chewed up a lot of my sinus bone. I mean, this is just what acids do. And it gets us all, one way or another. Nobody's above this. I really want to take them out as soon as due to dental insurance. Yeah, I know. Having mercury in my mouth really bothers me. I understand a special machine needs to be used. No, sweetheart. Much love to you. Get yourself a good old dentist, one you trust, and have them pull them out. You're going to detox anyway. Take a bunch of greens, wash your mouth out with salt and greens. You'll be good. This is Josh Hunter. I'm in the process of watching all the Q&As. I would appreciate it if you could give me a list of the books or videos do you recommend in chemistry, herbalism, and holistic anatomy. You mentioned a name similar to what sounded like Vasco in a video a couple of times. If you could write these down or spell them out, I'll do that. But I can't tell you when I'm going to get to it. You were asking about fructose. I learned about fructose by diffusion in a medical dictionary. That's where I learned about that. And I think my school taught that as well. But that's a lot of years ago. I couldn't even remember what I learned in school. It would be great to get a book of illness with corresponding iridology available. I mean, there's so much that you guys will put together yourself in the future there. I'll keep this to the side, Hunter, and I'll look at that in the future. But I like to see you guys put stuff like this together. You know, there's not a lot of this good stuff out there. That's the problem. I didn't learn from books. I learned from working on people. I read enough. I've done enough in my life with reading. I hate reading. I mean, I have a library here, and then I have one at home like this, and I've had at least this much of a library that I gave away in my life. I used to have a rule. I read, I give. I read, I give. I've given away hundreds and hundreds of books like that. And I just tell you, stop reading others and connect with the now and what's real. That's why I really probably will not write too much more books. I'm doing a live video. Can't beat that. That's the best. You guys become the healers. Work on yourself, work on others. You'll see the same thing I'm seeing. That's why we're one. We can communicate. Likeness. You know, some of the healers here I can sit and have great conversations with now because they've been through a lot of experiences, and now we can talk one-on-one. And that's what this advanced course is. For those that really want to get and have gotten into this and that can share, and we can all talk about how we get people out of these troubles. Because we have a lot of troubles. Hollywood 103. I understand the idea behind eating raw and endorse it 1,000% after following you for quite some time, but I got to thinking today while watching someone go into a fast food restaurant. Based on how most Americans eat, why aren't we more mineral vitamin deficient? Well, I imagine there are enough mineral corticosteroids produced by people's adrenals that there is some degree of mineral utilization. I really think for those that have malabsorption, you're going to see more of that. I think by and large, when you get down to the bottom line, and that's what I like, in today's world, bottom line it. The bottom line is your lymph system. And once you get all this acidosis out and you get the lymph filtering and all these two fluids are moving freely around all the cells in the body, you don't see any deficiencies. You don't see any problems in man. Nothing. And it doesn't matter how much you're eating of the fruits, berries, and minerals. There's no deficiencies. And I think deficiency isn't a word we can use until we fix utilization. Until we fix digestion, we fix absorption, and we fix utilization. Of course, we're all working on elimination to conquer the first three. And it's funny now, we have to go to elimination to get back to proper digestion, proper absorption, and proper utilization. Those are the four phases you don't want to ever forget. Proper digestion, pancreatic, bowel, liver, hepatic. 2, absorption, wall, intestinal walls, inside, lymph stagnation. 2, utilization, hormone steroids, predominantly steroids, adrenal glands, thyroid, parathyroid. So all these things need to be up to par before we can even echo deficiencies. And I think that you're not going to see much of that. We have never, ever seen that at this level. So I don't know, you know. The average person doesn't consume nearly enough fruits and veggies. I know. And that's what we see. We just see extreme acidosis. Sometimes not even a single serving for many days or weeks at a time. $1 million question. How do our bodies maintain such good mineral levels? Good question. So then does that not give you an example that we don't need a lot? So when people look at fruits and they say, well, there's not a lot of minerals here. No kidding. We don't need a lot of minerals. That's the point. Minerals are not bioavailable like people think they are. They're not used as nutrients in some ways. Some ways they are. So, you know, you get into studying the salts of the body, and then you get into the tissue salts, and it becomes a big deal. It becomes a big deal. So I really don't get into that because, to tell you the truth, I get into a lot of people malabsorbed, a lot of people chemical imbalances in the body from this and everything else. Yeah, a lot of people are devoid of zinc and selenium, some of these other utilization factors of these. So I think if you go and you look at this whole thing, you'll see it all. And you just have to clean out these kidneys and get these adrenals up so you can get better utilization of nutrients. But, you know, people fixate on vitamins and minerals, and I stopped and thought, why are we so fixated on vitamins and minerals? Plants have buku other things in them. Buku. You got flavonoids, you got coumarins, you got tannins, you got alkaloids, you got all kinds of things. You're loaded. We're still finding active principles in things. So I think we're just fixated on vitamins and minerals inappropriately. And vitamins predominantly come from bacterial action anyway. Your body produces a lot of vitamins just through its own bacterial action. That's why bacteria is so important to the body. That's why you don't go taking the body full of antibiotics. Now you kill all the vitamin makers. I mean, it's just, God made a system where everything feeds on another and produces what another needs. So it's just ridiculous to even think we can come in and have some kind of say over this. That's my $1,000,000 question. Has zero nutrient content. Well, there's not zero nutrient content. Meat has a lot of nutrition in it, just lopsided. And it is the effect of nutrition. How are we as humans able to thrive and survive with such a dysfunctional eating program? We don't. And we don't do it well, Brad. I mean, look around. I mean, if you understand the level of cancer being such a chronic and degenerative condition, you understand that out of 5 people, 4 have it. You understand why you're not seeing the whole picture here. Sit in my office for a while and you won't ask me that. But good questions, Brad. But as a healer, we're seeing this. So I need to cut this off, and thank you so much. How do you feel about oil pulling with raw coconut oil? I don't know. I haven't done oil pulling. I'm not really into that thinking, but I can't imagine it being bad. I've been asked this a lot by clients and have no experience with it. I don't either, so you have to ask someone else probably there, John, about how they feel about it. I've not had enough experience with that. I don't have the time or the thought. There's just so much going on that I don't have time to do that. But thank you so much, each and every one of you, for learning and growing. You know, this is the physical world. Not everything is as it seems. A lot of illusions out there, a lot of misinformation out there. This level itself is illusionary. You know, the dream. Here 1 minute, gone the next. So you are what's important. Always remember that. The real you. And so spend time with yourself. Spend time with joy and happiness, no matter what's going on in your world. If you're having people affecting you emotionally, learn how to put that outside. Don't bring them in. And that's a problem with codependency and the way we are emotionally. That comes with the weak adrenals, a weak society, corruption everywhere you look. No one is up there pounding it good. And you're seeing it coming, though. Rubio is really a nice guy. I saw him come up for Americans that way. But around the world, we have to start standing up for truth, honesty, integrity, and start showing the world that we can act with love, compassion, and as healers, and we don't have to hurt to heal people. We don't have to kill people because they're different. We like those differences. So we have a lot to do. But that's just creation. Get yourself right first. I love you all. You all have fun. Practice your meditations, if you will. Practice being and giving love to all life. And practice stop thinking. And enjoy the day in the presence of the now. Love you all. Bye-bye.